The More Movement Crew.
Welcome to the More Movement Crew podcast. I'm your host, Kenina Porter, and this is episode 7. Thank you for tuning in, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our channel by pressing the button below this video so that you can be connected to us and get all the latest videos, and so you can stay up on what we got going on. So thank you for tuning in. I'm so excited today. I have a special guest today that I've really been looking forward to talking to. We've been talking about getting together for a really, really long time. Yeah. And so it's going to be fun. So y'all going to enjoy this show for sure. But before I introduce this guest, I want to quickly talk about how I know this guest, right? How did I meet him?
We go back.
We go all the way back to what, middle school?
Yes.
To middle school.
Yeah.
And so we have known each other for a very long time. But we recently, within the last, 4 or 5 years, reconnected and worked together. And we did a lot of community work at first, and then we became I became supervisor, right?
Yeah,
I was
boss.
supervisor, which was kind of weird.
Very.
But we still remain friends, and we learned a lot about working together. So I definitely thought that it was really important for you to be on my show because you are equally as passionate as I am about kids in the community and really making a difference.
I appreciate that. I really do. I was looking forward to this.
I was like, I gotta get you on the show.
Yeah.
But before he officially introduces himself, we're going to play a game. And the game is called 5 Questions. Are you ready for this game?
I'm ready for the 5 questions. It could have been 21. But
21 questions.
5 is better.
50 cents.
There you
50
go.
cents. All right. So the first question is, what is the most interesting place you've traveled to and why?
Most interesting place. Let's see. I don't get out much. I will honestly have to say the most interesting place was when we went on a family vacation to the Bahamas. And we stayed there for about 5 days. Mm-hmm. And that was a good place because we had a chance to look at people, visit people in the different communities out there, seeing how they, their way of life and how they lived. And I mean, it was a lot of insight. Mm-hmm. I was able to learn a lot. And
so you guys flew, or you guys took a cruise, or what?
We took a cruise.
Oh, okay.
We took the Carnival cruise, and so we'll stop at different ports.
Yeah.
And just seeing how people live out there, man.
I know, but look what happened recently with the Bahamas.
Yeah. So I can't imagine because they're already dealing with poverty. Mm-hmm. So I can't imagine what it's like now. So, I would honestly say that was the most interesting
Bahamas
place. Yeah, it was a real good experience.
Bahamas is pretty dope. I think I went. Where did I go to Bahamas? Last summer before last.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
I recently went.
We're supposed to go back in January.
Yeah, it was good.
So this January coming up, we're supposed to go back.
The family?
Yeah. Well, me and a few friends. We all going and stuff.
So that'll be cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. But I'm a little worried. But what just happened?
I know.
I don't get to see everything. What is it gonna look like for tourists?
I don't know. So, I mean, as far as being able to rebuild
that quick.
That quick is. I mean, I saw a video of a family. It was I don't know if it was a mom and a child, but the mom was going live as the water was coming up on the apartment complex.
Oh, wow.
And she's like, somebody help us, pray for us, pray for us, pray for us. And I was just like,
that's sad.
I can't even imagine what that's like.
Yeah, that's sad.
So
it really is.
Much prayer for those in the Bahamas.
Definitely a good prayer for them.
And
pull through this.
Yeah, hopefully they can pull through, because I think another thing about going to another country is you get to see how other people live. I think that's important.
Yeah.
Because as Americans, we just
Exactly.
We be on some.
We take stuff for granted.
Yeah.
And I noticed a lot when I was walking around in the cities and stuff, and how they would act. It was almost like we were superstars.
Yeah.
And,
trying to get you to buy something.
Trying to get me to buy stuff, man. I got this chain.
Yeah.
This chain. I'm like, whoa.
Just like America.
Yeah, just like America. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so it's cool. All right, let's go to the next question. Question number 2. What gets you out of bed every day?
Wow. What gets me out of bed? Honestly, if you would have asked me this question about 10 years ago, I'd say that money, right?
Yeah.
But now it's almost like my passion for working and wanting to help people. I think that's what gets me up to want to, get my day started and go to work every day and be able to try to make a change in something. See a change in the kids that I work with. And I think that's what get me up every day.
That's real.
Yeah,
That's real. I thought you was gonna say your daughter.
Yeah, that too. You know, I have to get up, I have to work in order to provide for them too.
Yeah.
So seeing her face in the morning also is my motivator. Seeing my kids smile in the morning, man, that kind of get me motivated.
Oh,
it's hard to have
good.
a bad day after that.
That's good.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. All right. Question number 3. What color represents you?
I have 2 colors that represent.
2.
Yeah.
2. Okay. What are they?
Dallas Cowboy blue and Carolina Tar Heel blue.
Here we go.
That represents me, to the fullest.
So Dallas Cowboys and Carolina.
Yeah.
You have loved the Cowboys for as long as I can remember.
Yes, I'm a huge fan.
Why do you love the Cowboys so much?
I've always been a fan. That was my dad's favorite team. So
really,
it instilled that. He instilled that in me.
I didn't
America's
know that.
favorite team. Yeah.
It's America's favorite team.
I mean, everybody like the
You're talking to a non-sports person.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get you hip.
Oh God.
Get you hip on that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to because I'm just really not. I try to be into it, but I'm just.
It's it's one of them
my
things,
attention span just be like
the games are long.
Yeah, I'll be like,
what's going on? Who got the ball?
Who got some snacks? I'm hungry, something. Because I be, yeah.
I would honestly say blue. I mean, that's a calm color. I'm a laid back person, so.
All right. So like 2 shades of blue then?
Yeah, 2 shades. All right. 2 shades. Yeah, no other way.
Cool. Number 4. This is gonna be interesting. I'm excited to hear what you gonna say for this one. That says name 3 songs or artists that are in your playlist.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh man, well, I'm old school, So,
I know.
I would honestly have to say, as it relates to rap, a guy like Styles P. He's one of my favorite rappers.
Really?
He's in my playbook.
Okay.
But when I need to tone down a little bit, Mint Condition,
I thought you was gonna say Jodeci.
Jodeci. They all in the same little playbook. Some of that old school R&B.
Okay.
That kind of keeps me mellow throughout the day. Yeah.
Wow, I knew you was gonna do some '90s R&B.
Yeah.
Something because
that's what the music. I mean, that's the real love right there. That's the real love song.
Oh yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So when I listen to songs like that, it had me thinking about my little crushes that I had back in the day.
You probably had a lot of them too.
I had a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It really does take you back though.
Yeah,
it does. Because we both grew up in Radcliffe, Kentucky, and it's not a really big place, but it was almost like it didn't feel that way because it was like our town, our spot. So
it was our stomping ground.
Yeah. So it was like everybody kind of knew everybody a little bit. And it just takes you back to like just childhood memories.
But the sad thing about it is that when I listen to those songs, I look at my life now and I'm like, man, I'm getting old.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Oh, where did this time go?
Where did it go at all?
But it takes you back to different parts of your life when those songs was hits. Like what was going on in your life at that time. So,
yeah.
That's why it's always good to reminisce and listen to some good old school R&B.
And it also makes you feel old when you like say an artist and then like this generation be like, who?
Yeah, they
you be like, who is Jodeci? Like, I don't know who that is.
They have no idea.
Yeah,
who those groups are.
They don't at all.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, we getting up there.
We are. We definitely are.
We still look good though. We still look good.
Yeah, we do. Right, we do. Don't worry about the bald head. Hey, it's part of it.
Right. We're still good. We still good.
Yeah, we got a long way to go.
I thought you was gonna say, remember when you used to like, what's that song? Kicking Back.
Kicking Back.
How that song go? You was like, you know that song? You was like, I don't know who it's by, but she's like, I'm vibing, I'm chilling, I'm good. I kick it back and I'm vibing. Like you used to like that song.
I remember singing that song to you. You was like, what are you talking about?
Right. You was like, I don't know who sings it, but I'm feeling that song. I'm feeling that song.
Yeah, I remember that.
So yeah.
So I mean, I'm a fan of music. I got the satellite radio, so I'm constantly
a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Cool. All right. So last question. Question number 5 is, what is the best advice you were given?
Man, that's a good one. The best advice I was given. I will honestly say this came from my uncle. Cherish the things that you have and don't take things for granted. that's real important to me.
Yeah.
You know, be thankful for what you have, and don't take anything for granted, because you know, there's people that's doing worse than you are, and not where you are. So I honestly say, and that humbles me too.
Yeah.
You know, it keeps me humble, to let me know that I still got a lot of growth. I still got a lot of work that need to be done. You know, so
yeah.
I want to honestly say that.
But no matter how big you get, you always gotta have something that keeps you.
You gotta keep
level-headed.
That drive going. You have to.
Yeah. That's cool. Plus, you always got me to keep you level-headed.
You, sis. You know, she'll tell you how many times I done call her like, sis, man, how do I handle this?
We do.
Yeah, we stay. You know, she on speed now.
We be having the moments and he'll be like, bro,
yeah,
you gotta calm down.
And we have a lot of those examples.
the counselor's counseling. So that's how we do it. So
definitely.
Now that we have played the game 5 questions, we're going to get into the main topic of the show. And the main topic of the show is you.
Okay.
So first, I want you to start off by introducing yourself and what it is that you do.
Okay. Well, for the world, I'm Reggie Smith. I'm currently a mental health practitioner, mental health counselor at TJ Middle School. This is my first year in JCPS in the system. So I'm an 8th grade counselor. Mm-hmm. You know, so I enjoy it. You know, cool. I enjoy doing that work. Also, I do EAP counseling, employee assistance counseling for like employers or whatever. So I do that. And then on the side, I work for 2 contractors where I do private practice counseling on the side. So
what is it that made you interested in doing counseling? Like, what is it that made you pursue that? Because I remember so what's your undergrad in again?
Criminal justice.
Yeah. And then I remember you was getting through grad school, you was working, and you was doing a whole bunch of other stuff too. Something part-time, you was doing all this stuff. But you was finishing up your master's for counseling. Like, what made you like stick with that and say that's what I want to do?
Well, when I even majored in criminal justice, my whole reason for doing criminal justice was to work with youth, work with at-risk youth at the time, juveniles and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then as I finished that degree, I realized, well, I should have majored in social work, right? Mm-hmm. I ain't need that that criminal justice title. So when I was doing that, I realized that the market wasn't that big for me at that time, because when you think of criminal justice, you think in law enforcement or being a lawyer, etc. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it wasn't really many options for me at the time. Like that. So I felt like I had to, you know, get more education in order to do what I wanted to do. So that's when it made me want to go back to school. And I feel like I've always been a counselor. Even at all the residential programs that I worked at, I was always pulling kids to the side, like, look, you know, but it wasn't in that therapeutic way, you know. So now I have more of that therapeutic approach with the school and my certification in counseling now. So now I'm official with it. So
all right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you are official with it.
Yeah.
Because I rely on you for a lot of stuff. But it's so true though, because your personality goes with counseling. Like I'm so glad that you didn't get steered into social work, because I feel like that would have kind of pigeonholed you a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think that counseling kind of lets you out of the box a little bit, and naturally, like, you're able to like diffuse situations, because we worked together, and we had to diffuse a lot.
Man, every day.
Of situations. Yes, we had to diffuse.
And those real life situations that they was dealing with, grown people, you know, the youth that we was working with at the time. I mean, it was a lot. Yeah. Yeah,
So I think that's just a gift, I think, in itself, because even like with my work with people, like, I feel like I have to prep myself in order to like do the counseling, but with you, it comes like supernatural. Like, you just make people feel comfortable. Yeah. So I think it's a gift. It could be finesse with a master's degree, you know, is finesse. Yeah, you know. They're like, oh, Reggie, talk to me. Reggie, talk to me. Exactly. But like, even guys too, they can connect to you. So like, with counseling and with some of the things that you've seen, what are some of the biggest issues that you realize should really be addressed when it comes to mental health, the Black community, like whatever? What do you think what are some issues that you really are like passionate about when it comes to mental health?
For one, you know, when you think of mental health and you think of the Black community, That's a huge stigma. You know, when I was young, you would have asked me about counseling. I would have looked at you like you was crazy. Like, I don't need that. You know, especially when it's dealing with mental health, because you thinking, when you think of mental health, you thinking, something's wrong with me. You know, I have an issue. I need medication. It's all associated with mental health, right? So, you know, trying to remove that stigma in the African American community is important. And 80% of my clients are African American, right, in the school system. So it's like trying to educate the parents on it and getting them to buy into it is the biggest obstacle, because you thinking, I mean, this is generational trends that, you know, that have the same trauma that, you know, they have this thing where we don't need that. And it's going into the kids and their state of mind. So they automatically resistant to it. So a lot of times I have to change my approach. It's not therapy, it's not counseling. You know, look at me like a mentor. Look at me as a support, an advocate for you. So a lot of times when I word it that way, I get families to buy into it. And then once I get the family to buy into it, then I have to find a way to get the kid to buy into it. I can't force them to come, right? So I have to find a way to get them to, you know, to understand that, look, I'm here to help you. Let's talk about these things. And like you mentioned, trauma. I mean, that's real, because that's something that everybody has at least experienced at least one aspect in their life when it's relating to trauma. So I think that's important to bring those issues out. Let's talk about those issues so we can move forward, because a lot of times, I mean, if you don't address those issues, then you're going to be living your life, you know, with different barriers that could be prevented if you just work through these things. So, I mean, I think that's important. And I guess my role is really just to change the state of mind for young people. By the way, you know, I got this agency that I'm trying to work for. I mean, this nonprofit I'm trying to start. I mean, it's mind elevation. And the reason why I chose that, because a lot of times we get stuck in that. You know, we have to elevate our mind. We have to change the way we see things in order to grow. So,
and I think there's also just stigma about even talking about it. Because there are things that happen in families. I mean, all kinds of families, but particularly families of color, where it's like we don't talk about that thing. And sometimes we don't talk about it because it's shameful. But in other times, it's like we don't talk about it because we don't know what to do about it. You know, we don't really know how to deal with it. So let's just act like it didn't happen. You know,
that's buried under this little rug right here, and
then it manifests later.
You'll be fine. And that's the way a lot of young people are to this day. Like, you know, they just want to keep it. And I was always raised, you know, what happens at home, stay at home. You better not go out there and tell everybody what happened up in this house, right?
True.
So I get it. And when I'm talking to these kids, I get it because I've been there. You know, I ain't always been Reggie that lived in Radcliffe. You know, I have a past as well. And I think a lot of those things kind of help motivate me. And that's where my passion comes from, is the things that I've been through. And honestly, you know, I actually had a school counselor help me and my family out, you know, in North Carolina. I lived in a project, so I know what that feels like, you know. And it was a counselor pulled me to the side and made sure that we had clothes, made sure we had food. So I look at all those things when I think about why I do what I do. That's because somebody kind of helped me, right? So I feel like it's my responsibility, my obligation to help somebody else, and I think that's where my motivation comes from. And I let them know, you know, I get it. And some of these kids I see in that school, I look at them and it's like a reflection of me, who I was, and I'm like, wow, you know, that's how I was. I thought that way. But then what did it take for me to grow and elevate my mind to be successful? You know, it wasn't an easy road. And of course, these kids nowadays, they got a lot worse.
A lot more to deal with.
We didn't have all that social media when we was in school, right?
That's a big part of it.
That's a big part of it. And it's so much for a kid to deal with. You're dealing with an adolescent brain. Like, they can't figure these things out. You know what I'm saying? So just trying to change that whole mentality, I think, you know, that's the obstacle.
I know that, like, even when I explain, like, if I talk to a young person about mental health or something that they've been dealing with, like you said, a language is very important at how you approach it. I think I heard it, in training one time or something, where they said to explain it where there's nothing wrong with you. You're not crazy. You just think differently.
That's all it is.
Right? And so you have to figure out how to process it a different way.
That's all it is.
And I think about that because it's so true, because I'm like, I think differently. So, you think differently.
We all different.
We all think differently, and it's because of the experiences and the things that we've come across, that we've experienced that made us think that way.
Right.
And so I think that if we start to see it that way, like it's not an illness. We've worked the year that what was it? 2017?
Yeah. Yeah.
We had some hard mental health issues.
Yes.
And
it was right before our very eyes, man. And once we was able to figure things out, for a few unfortunate situations, it was too late before we could actually get in there and really do what we needed to do.
Yeah.
So that's the unfortunate part about it. But it's all about awareness,
And so, with the nonprofit organization that you want to create, how do you think is the best way to spread awareness?
Education. And honestly, I think it starts with just relationship building for the most part. Yeah. Establishing this relationship, working with these kids, letting them know your purpose. I'm in your life because this is what I want to do. What do you want to do? Yeah. Goal setting. Like, how can I help you reach that goal? So just spreading the whole thing about mental health, because not every kid or young person can work with just any counselor. Yeah. And I think a lot of times that falls short, where you force some kid to go into counseling and he don't have that relationship. Yeah, that's with so somebody, true. That's so true. It doesn't work, right? And then in his mind, he's thinking all counselors are going to be like that, right? So a lot of times we just trying to pick up where other people kind of slacked or left off from, and that can always be hard, because now I got to establish this whole sense of trust. This kid has to open up everything, open up those wounds all over again, relive that trauma all over again. So I think, that's hard. Yeah. That's hard to deal with. Yeah.
So, with all of your experience, with some of the things that you've encountered, like, where do you see yourself? Where do you want to see yourself? Right? Like, where do you want the nonprofit to go? Where do you want your experience working in the school system to take you? At some point, what do you want to do?
Well, what I want to do, I want to stay in the school system, right? Because I feel like that's where we have to get them from. That's where we got to work with the youth at. It starts there, right? Because so many kids are left behind in the school system. Even when we work that youth bill, right? We working with these kids when they already done graduated from high school. They looking at they at the second part of their life, right, where they trying to figure things out. Yeah. But look at all the things that could have been changed if they would have had success in middle school, success in high school, right? Yeah. So I think middle school is a good point to kind of provide that mentoring and that education, because that's the good time to really catch them, because statistics show that typically a kid already has a decision if they don't like school, if they're going to drop out in middle school. Yeah. Right? So, and in high school, that's when they actually drop out. So I feel like I'm in a position where I can kind of motivate them to take education more seriously, and let them know that you're in control of your life. What you do today is going to affect what your life is going to end up. Do you want to be the one serving the burgers at McDonald's, or do you want to be the one, managing that store? But a lot of times,
owning
that store, right? But a lot of kids don't see that. Yeah, they don't see that because mom is not doing that. Grandfather, grandma are not doing that, right? They're working there. Yeah, but you can do that. Yeah, so. And
I think what I'm finding is, because I also work within the school system as well, is that people don't understand, in terms of education, when you're trying to really help a child figure out how to navigate and how to transition and be successful, the layers of things that you're dealing with, right? You got these layers of trauma. You've got learning disabilities. You've got negative perceptions of who they are. I talked to a young lady the other day, and I'm like, why didn't you take the ACT? And she's like, I never thought I was going to be college material, so I really don't see a point in taking it. And I'm like, you didn't even try? So it's like, we got to get past the negative perceptions. We got to get past the trauma. We got to get past whatever, they caught behind on work. We got to get past that. So it's like layers and layers of things that we have to
do. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it starts in the home,
Yeah.
They got to get that motivation from somebody.
So what are some ways that you think, like, because you could do all that you can do with that child in the schools. I can do all that I can do with that child in the schools. But when they get home, they are right back in an environment that may not be healthy or that has contributed to that. What do you say to, like, what do you think the solution can be to really help the families figure that thing out?
Yeah, I mean, even when I work for the Summer Works program, I pitched this idea of, let's get the parent employed, right? And that can drive and motivate this kid to want to get employed, meaningful employment, right? Yeah. So to answer your question, I think it starts with just gaining that support from the family. It starts with that conversation with the family. Like, even in the school system, right? Before I start working with a kid, the first person I'm gonna call is their mom.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that trust with their mom to get information about this kid, right? And then I'm gonna let the mom know what my plans are to work with their kid. And then I think just continuing that motivation, continuing that contact, checking in. How's everything going? What can I do to help, right?
Yeah.
You need some resources. What can I connect you with? But when I first started, it was hard because, you figure I come from the community, right? Well, I'm an advocate. So they on my side because I'm helping them. But when I jumped into the school system, I feel like I'm part of the system. Yeah, I'm part of the system now. Yeah. And that's something that I struggle with until I called you, by the way. You know, I called you and I told you, like, how do I bridge that gap? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was a really good conversation.
Yeah, it was.
Because I just helped you to understand that, like, the gift and the person that you are, like, in whatever role you go into, you're just as effective. Yeah. So it doesn't mean just because you go into the school system, like, because they need you in the school system. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about men of color that are therapists. Like, have you, like, in school, did you see a lot of men of color in your classes? No.
I can't even think of one.
You can't even think of one. You're the only African-American male. Wow. And how about at your school?
At my school, unfortunately, it's just me.
It's just you.
Wow, right? And when I think about that and I process that, I'm like, whoa, I'm the only one, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't even think about growing up in our experiences. I'm trying to think of, like, what African-American male teachers do we have? We had the coach, Garrison.
Yeah, he was one of the.
But was he a sports? He was a coach though, right? Or was he just teacher? He was
just a teacher.
Just a teacher.
Social studies.
Yeah, all I remember is just coaches and
Coach Tucker and them. I mean, those were the only ones that I could think of.
Yeah, we never had, like, an actual English or math teacher,
right,
that was of color.
No. And then when you mention counseling, it's like, that's my role, and I feel like a lot of times I'm just kind of getting thrown out there, man.
I don't think I've even seen a black male counselor either.
I haven't.
Wow.
No, that's deep.
That is deep.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah.
And so then now we've got this, and you would think that by 2019, then it would look differently, but it doesn't.
And they trying to make a difference in it, especially with JCP. I know they starting to hire a lot of African-American principals, right? It starts from the top now, and hopefully, they can kind of prepare and give everybody else what they need as far as the guidance and teaching them on how to work with these kids, right? So, but yeah, I mean, it's different. A lot of time when I first started, I mean, you don't know how many parents done talk bad to me on the phone because I'm calling from that school number. Yeah. But I'm the type of person, I'm not just gonna, I don't take it personal. Yeah. I want to hear what you have to say, right? I'm a parent too at the end of the day. I get it. I get where that motivation is coming from, but there's still other ways that we can handle this situation.
What do you think about creating opportunities to have dialogue with parents? So like, if parents have concerns and issues, like from a mental health perspective, have like some kind of a forum where you have parents come and we talk about some of the things that our kids are dealing with. Do you think that they would be interested in something like that? Or you think that's something that would even be effective in the school system?
I honestly think that it is, and it's funny you said that because we actually have one coming at the end of this month.
Yeah,
It's like an awareness, depression and anxiety, in the Newburgh area for those families. But like I said, it exists, right? Anxiety is something that everybody has. What is that? It's just worrying and fears excessively. You know, worrying about things. It could be test anxiety. It could be anxiety, different types of it, right? Depression. Grief and loss. These kids are losing their friends every day out here, right? So it's a lot going on. So I'm curious to see what the turnout is going to be.
That's what I was going to say.
We having food, so I'm hoping that might be a little motivator as well too. But it's all about education, and the whole point of it is just to let the parents know, like a lot of times they're not gonna come to you with this stuff, right? Because they used to, boy, go on back to your room, man. You're gonna be alright. Suck it up.
Or he acting up today.
Yeah.
He got an attitude today.
That's all it is. Yeah. But it's a little bit deeper than that.
Yeah.
So I think it's just gonna be awareness. These are the signs that you need. These are the things you need to look for. Because we've seen it at school. Obviously, if his grades are lacking, there's something going on.
Yeah.
We just have to figure out what it is. So I'm curious to know what that's going to look like.
It is. And definitely like getting help from the community to get the word out, I think is probably the best way you can do it. Because you may, I feel like it's a conversation that not just parents at your school could benefit from, but parents everywhere could benefit from.
Definitely.
I think that is so important. So I'm glad y'all doing that. That's cool.
Me too,
That's
man.
cool.
I'm looking forward to it. It needs to be a city initiative.
Yeah, I'm sure you got a lot of initiatives in your bag. You're not gonna reveal them. We're not gonna reveal them all on this podcast because we got some stuff we gotta work on.
Yeah, I got a lot. I got a lot of good ideas that I'm gonna bring to the table. Just because I'm passionate about it, and we're gonna make it work.
So you said you see yourself at JCPS. But what if it's an opportunity that presents itself where it's like, you could write a book,
Speaking of that, I'm supposed to be. I'm slacking on that.
You slacking on your book. You write your book, because I think that it's a message that needs to just go beyond Louisville, right? It needs to go beyond our school system. And I really feel like you recruiting other Black males at universities to pursue counseling, like recruiting. Because like when I talk to kids, because that's what I do, is I help them to figure out what their path is. I don't ever hear counselor. And if I do hear counselor, I will hear it from a female student. I never hear a Black male say he wants to be a counselor.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But I ain't never thought about it like that.
Never. So just like recruiting them to like go into that field, because I was thinking about that because we were having a conversation about how to get more teachers of color. And so, it's how do we get them into that track? Like when you say education now, when I say education, they look at me like,
I gotta take all these tests. I gotta do all of this stuff.
They look like, nah.
But they're making it so much easier now with the different ways you can get in there to be a teacher. We definitely need to get more African Americans in there. But they need somebody that they can look at and relate to. That's so important.
Yeah.
And I think that's the issue a lot of times when you talk about mental health and counseling. Like, I can sit there with a kid and say, look, I've been there. I'm not, I started where you are and look where I'm at now. So you can do it too. And the look on those kids' face when they first saw me at that school, what do you do? Oh, I'm a counselor. You a what? Counselor.
Like, why are you here? Were you a frisky?
Exactly. And that's how they looked at me, man. And I'm like, whoa.
Did they think you were like wow, really? Yeah, you was dressed up.
In reality, I had a polo on, but they was really looking like, are you somebody's parent?
Oh, okay.
What are you doing here?
Yeah. Wow.
And then they come to my office and they see my office and they're like, oh, man.
Like, he really does work here.
He really does work here. And so I think that's important.
Yeah.
So now they know, if he can do it, I can do it too.
And then they'll start looking for you too. They'll start asking like, hey, is Miss Reggie here?
Oh, man. We don't know how many situations I done put out.
Oh, fires you done put out already.
And the thing about me, I have the ability to work with anybody.
I know.
And not just the, African-American kids. It's everybody.
That's a skill set, though.
Same motivation, yeah.
It's a skill set. And I think that, like, you can teach that skill set. Like, teaching people how to be able to work with other people in that way. I just think it's a skill set. Like, sometimes when I be like, hey, Reggie, I need you to go over here and I need you to smooth this situation out for us. Can you go do that? You be like, I got you. So you'll go and figure it out.
Yeah,
like,
jump right in.
They not ready to fight no more. Like, for now, they not ready to fight.
And that's what my weeks consist of, is mediating the situation.
It really is. It's always funny, like, just to see your reaction. You be like, they get ready to fight, but I'm gonna do what I can do.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and jump in there and see what's up. Yeah, we're about to make this thing work.
That's cool. Yeah. That's cool. I mean, we spend a lot of time talking about African American males, obviously, because you're African American male.
Yeah.
But I think also women also experience lots of trauma in different ways as well. So I think it's just super important also to talk about more women of color therapists, like for particularly dealing with some of the issues that women deal with.
Yeah,
and so I found myself, even when I was leading the young women's group, like being limited in what I could provide these young women because they needed more.
They need a lot.
Yeah, they needed a lot more.
They really do. And it's good that you said that, because they dealing with it on a different level. They processing things on a different level.
Yeah.
I mean, you thinking about women, a lot of times you're thinking about sexual abuse, trust issues with males in general,
self-esteem issues, and all types of things. So I think that just in relationships, I think relationships was really big because it was at the core, like how they relate to their partners, how they relate to one another was so important, because it like shaped like all of the things that they've like, that's the reason why they responded the way they responded, because that's how they act out in relationships. And so we spent so much time really, really talking about relationships because it's like so important.
Yeah, healthy relationships, definitely. And you did good work with those groups, though. Man.
I tried.
You did good work.
I really did. It was that's amazing. It's like you gotta love what you do, and you gotta and you can't do it. Look, I'm gonna look at the camera and say this: you cannot do it for the money.
No.
Let me tell you, you cannot do it for the money. Cause
think about it. I mean, the money is important, but if the money is what wake you up every morning, and when you drinking your coffee and get ready to start that car and go in, you need to find something else. You need to find something else. I mean, because you got to have another level of motivation.
You do.
You got to have something.
And it goes beyond. I think a lot of times people don't realize that, like, when you're really trying to create impact, that goes beyond the hours of 9 to 5.
Oh yeah.
Right. You got people hitting you up. Hey, Mr. Reggie, remember that time? Hey, Miss Kanina, remember that time? Like we're constantly like helping, even when it's a weekend or a vacation. Like, you constantly there for them.
Right. And it's crazy because I still got kids that I worked with back in 2005.
Wow.
2006. Reaching out to me to this day, like, Mr. Reggie, I just want to let you know what I'm doing, and they thank me for what I did. They remember the stuff that I taught them, and I'm like, man, you remember that?
I know. Especially when you have a day where you feel like I ain't doing nothing, or this ain't working. Like, ain't nobody listening to me. Right. Then you have that moment where you're like, they were listening to me. They really did get it.
They took it in. They took it in.
So it makes
Unfortunately, a lot of them, in prison right now. But I guess my goal, I'm looking at a bigger scale. I know I can't save everybody. Yeah. But the ones that I can, that's my goal.
That's true.
Yeah.
And also, I guess this is another thing about being in the field that you're in. How do you practice self-care?
Ooh, that's important right there, right?
So important.
Oh, yeah.
So important. Me and my colleague were talking about this the other day. What do you think? For people who are in that industry, like, how do you practice self-care?
And honestly, that's called vicarious trauma right there. That's the trauma that you witness at work and that you taking it in, right? So for me, I don't take it home with me. Once I leave the job, I don't let it have the best of me, man. I try. I can't take it home with me. Yeah. I gotta, and part of that self-care involves like boundaries. Knowing to set those good boundaries. Yeah. Knowing when to not answer, to cut that phone off, and revisit that situation the next day. But for me, I would honestly say my self-care plan is the boat. I like going to the boat.
You do.
Yeah. Anything like that, and my kids.
Yeah.
I think that's how I manage my kid. Just putting everything down. And I ain't gonna lie, it's a work in progress. I'm always constantly working and doing something, right? So I need to work on that self-care plan right there. But typically just knowing when I leave work, I'm leaving.
Leave it there.
I'm leaving it there.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, and I can't bring that stuff home with me.
The last question that I ask every guest that comes on the show is the question of, when did you know that there was more? So let me give you a little bit of context around that question. There's always a time where there is a moment in your life where you say, I got to do more. I got to pursue more, or, something. What was that moment for you?
When I realized I have to do more. That's a good question. Well, I'm about to take it back to youth build. I think that's where it really hit me the most. When I realized that I'm working with two young people, and the reality that they was dealing with a lot of stuff in the streets. And the two I'm talking about, and to hear that they passed away days apart, right? I think that right there, I really took that hard, man, really, because that's real. That let me know that it's real.
Yeah.
And I think at that point I was like, I have to figure this thing out. I have to do more. I got to start earlier. Yeah. I got to catch them when they're a little bit younger, right? So I think going to those funerals when I was at Youth Build and just witnessing everything that I saw there, I think that's what hit that light bulb in my ear. Like, I got to work a little bit harder. There's too many successful people. We have the ability to give back and save these young people, but why aren't we doing it? Yeah.
That's
why
true.
aren't we doing it? I mean, let's be real here.
Everybody can do something.
Everybody can do something. Even if it's just one person mentoring somebody. Letting them know how you got where you got. That's how I start.
Yep. Bringing some family, some food.
Yeah.
They hungry.
Yeah.
Give them some clothes, something.
Yeah. Stop saying that you need to change, but trying to help them make that change.
Yeah.
Awareness, man. I mean, just being that support. That's always something we all could be doing. And I think that was my youth build what really woke me up. Like, I need to do more. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So
we got more questions.
Look, you just want to keep on rolling.
I'm in my zone.
Look, this is 40-something minutes. That's enough people. You got to do a part 2.
Yeah.
We're going to do a part 2.
Yeah, we're going to do a part 2. I'm going to be back on this show, people.
All right.
I have more to talk about.
So thank you so much.
Man, thank you for coming on the show. Me. I appreciate that, sis.
I appreciate you. And we will have you back. We're going to have you back. I'm thinking about doing a men's round table.
Oh, let's do it.
So I'll be like the host, and I'll be in the middle of the guys having conversations, and we're gonna talk about I'm gonna do a women's round table, and I'm gonna do a men's round table.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna just see how the episodes are. I think it's gonna be cool.
That's gonna be nice.
So
that's gonna be dope right there.
So that's the next time you're gonna see him.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking forward to it
on the show.
Yeah, but I just want to tell you, man, you keep doing your thing.
Thank you.
You inspire me to do what I need to do, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, y'all. This lady right here is the truth, man. It's my sister right here, man. Much respect for her.
Thank you for coming on the show, and thank you.
She was my boss, though, y'all. She stayed on me.
I did. He'd drive me so crazy. We'll be fighting. I'm like, where'd you?
Disagreements at times, but it was all love at the end of the day. Since we'll be having for lunch.
Right.
Yeah. But
I'll be like, I ain't talking to you today.
Yeah.
But we ended up getting back together. We couldn't be mad at each other.
Yeah, we get back. Brother, sister, little conflict, but we made it work.
So thank you also for tuning in to this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and I know that he had a lot of amazing and inspiring things to say. Don't forget, everybody can do something. Everybody can make a difference in the life of somebody else. And so we hope that you've enjoyed this episode. We hope that you will subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
Hit that subscribe button, y'all.
Yeah, and check us out and tune in next week when we have another special guest. But for now, thank you for tuning in and be blessed.
Peace.